Hello, I'm Governor Laura Kelly. It's a pleasure to join you here today, even if it has to be virtual, to celebrate the Topeka Public Schools 2020 Opening of Schools Convocation. Even though we couldn't gather in person for this celebration, I still wanted to express my support for all 2,500 of you who have committed to making this school year as safe and productive as possible. And thank you to the Topeka Public Schools staff who worked to put this convocation video together. This year has been one for the books, to say the least. We've all been presented with tremendous challenges and uncertainties. Working in education, you know all too well the patience, energy, and flexibility needed to succeed and facilitate a healthy learning environment for your students, and that's during a normal school year. Providing our children with a high-quality education is paramount. It's the bedrock for a hardworking, intelligent, creative, and empathetic future generation of Kansans. You've done an excellent job of adapting to the circumstances and striving to connect with your students, teaching them while making their health and safety, and yours, a priority. When this virus began to spread, my administration took decisive action. We were the first state to close schools last spring. That was a difficult decision. I know it was tough on parents, teachers, employers, and students alike, but every action I have taken throughout this pandemic has been done to keep Kansans healthy, keep our economy strong, and get our kids back in school as soon and as safely as possible. Following the decision, a diverse group of our state's best and brightest teachers, counselors, and administrators came together to develop continuous learning plans and create a framework for local districts to implement a robust curriculum through a combination of online education, small group settings, and take-home work. You made that plan your own and quickly implemented the strategies that worked best for your district and your classroom. I know that each faculty member has been working through the uncertainty to make sure that students attending Topeka Public Schools can resume learning as safely as possible this fall. I sincerely appreciate your district's decision to delay the start of school until after the Labor Day holiday, and I know that decision was made in the best interest of students and faculty. There's no doubt this school year will be demanding, but you've already shown such resilience that I'm confident you'll continue working with the same attention and care as this school year gets underway. As governor, I'm committed to protecting our students, our teachers, and our staff from COVID-19 and making sure they have all the tools they need to succeed. Know that as we begin this year, I'm with you every step of the way. I will continue to do what's right to protect Kansas communities. I wish all of you the best in this coming school year. We will get through this together.
Good morning, Topeka Public School family. My name is Scott Mickelson, and I'm president of the Board of Education for this year. I miss not being together in Lee Arena, where I could see all the colorful school spirit shirts and listen to your goofy, rhythmic chants for your schools. We can do that next year, I hope. Please allow me to introduce my board colleagues. On the back left is Dr. Richard Bonebrake. Next to Richard is Dr. Michael Morrison. In the back middle is Mr. Lalo Munoz. Next to Mrs. Sue Boley, and on the back right is Mrs. Melanie Stewart Campbell. On the front right is John Williams, who serves as our board vice president. One of the components of our mission statement is to prepare students for responsible, productive citizenship. And if you'll allow me just a moment to talk about how that has happened with my own life, with my own children, and how Topeka Public School educators have influenced that. My wife and I have two kids. Riley, who is our oldest, graduated from Topeka High in 2013, and Jack is our youngest, who graduated also from Topeka High in 2019. Riley would be considered a teacher's pet. She was highly academically motivated and wanted to please her teachers. I could make a long list of excellent teachers that she had at Topeka High and throughout all of her educational career. And included on that list would be Carrie Zimmerman. Carrie was her biology teacher her freshman year and also her sophomore year. During one of those years, Carrie recognized Riley's interest in science and a potential interest in medicine, and invited Riley and several of her classmates to participate in a Doctor for a Day program at KU Medical School in Kansas City. Riley traveled to Kansas City and got a glimpse of what it would take to potentially ultimately become a physician. If we were to fast forward a decade now, we'd look at Riley, and she's in her last year of medical school and plans to become an obstetrician and gynecologist. again, productive, responsible citizenship. And I can thank many teachers at Topeka High for that happening. Also, more importantly, I think for our family, is Riley met her boyfriend at Topeka High. He's the son of one of our music educators there. Sal Cruz's son, Christian, has been dating Riley for the last 8 or 9 years, I suppose, and he's a welcome addition to our family. Our son Jack graduated in 2019, and he's not exactly a teacher's pet. I'm sure if I were to look through this lens and see several of his teachers are probably nodding in agreement. He had a lot of the similarities of his sister, but being a teacher's favorite wasn't one of them. He's the kind of student that 15 minutes before he had to sit at Topeka High to take his ACT test, he was still at home looking for a number 2 pencil. Jack had several good teachers and counselors at Topeka High. Sarah Schaefer was a godsend for him as a counselor, and probably more importantly, Jack's freshman year, he enrolled in junior ROTC. He's always had an interest in the military. And at that time, Gunnar Kelly was the instructor for the ROTC program. Gunnar recognized Jack's interest in the military and latched onto Jack, and he never let go. Gunnar changed the trajectory of Jack's life. Jack is now a midshipman at the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland, and he's going to be a productive and responsible citizen, we hope. When I'm convinced that educators across the U.S. have a special power to transform and change lives. I don't know if it's when you get your diploma, when you walk across that stage and you shake the hand of the Dean of the College of Education. He empowers you with a superpower to change the trajectory of students' lives. But we're grateful for that as parents and as patrons. Thank you for doing that. We know this year is going to be a challenge as we deal with COVID and work through the uncertainties associated with that. We thank you in advance for your flexibility and your commitment. We encourage you to stay safe. Please look after each other, especially our new instructors out there, our new teachers, especially the brand new teachers who just graduated and have joined Topeka Public Schools. Stay safe and have a great year. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Dr. Anderson, the Superintendent of Topeka Public Schools, and today is Convocation Day. Okay, normally when I'm in the arena, normally you hear shouting and you hear music and just cheers and hugs and laughter. Okay, we're not in the arena, but we're still going to do that. So you do that from your home, from your classroom, wherever you are. Cheers, love, and laughter, and be sure on Facebook or social media, wherever you are, to put a little item in the chat to let people know you're thinking of them. Okay, so if I were in the arena, I'd be taking off my jacket, so I'm going to do that now. Take off my jacket. And let's get this party going. I'm so excited. This is one of my favorite days of the year. Okay, so first I'm going to start with some introductions. You've already met the school board. Dr. Mickelson gave a wonderful introduction and just a great start. And look, we've never had the governor come in to our convocation, so the virtual piece has given us that chance. Thank you, Governor Kelly, one, for having the wisdom to suggest for us to start on September 9th, allowing us to plan, get professional development, watch how the virus is spreading, and have in place all kinds of extra measures. We thank you for that. And then with that, thank you for our school board. All the support has been amazing. You've joined an incredible family, and the family continues with my leadership team. So I'm going to introduce some key members of my leadership team. I'll start with really my right hand, the Deputy Superintendent. Deputy Superintendent Robbins, he's an alum of Topeka Public Schools. He's also the person that oversees all of operations. So we're talking about food service, buses, the budget, really everything that makes a school district run, that's Deputy Robbins. So Mr. Larry Robbins, we thank you, Mr. Robbins, for getting all the PPE equipment, for getting schools up and going, for just taking care of all the background work. You are an amazing person, and we thank you. Hey, we have a new member this year, our Associate Superintendent. She's right next to Mr. Robbins, and so her name is Dr. Jill Hackett. She's been a superintendent, she's been a principal, she's been an assistant superintendent, and most importantly, she was a teacher for many years at Randolph Elementary when she first started her career. Dr. Jill Hackett has this just gentle way about herself. but she can also be pretty feisty, and she oversees the secondary schools, the high schools, the college and career readiness, CTE, and then really anything else that kind of comes up that really needs a bit of guiding. That's Dr. Hackett's role. Thank you, Dr. Hackett, and welcome to the team. The other person I often call my work wife, Mrs. Wallace, because we spend so much time together. Mrs. Billy Wallace has been in the district for decades. In fact, many of her members of her family have graduated from Topeka Public Schools and or work in Topeka Public Schools. She is a diehard TPS fan. Thank you, Ms. Wallace, for all that you do. So all this great staff development that you're getting this week, and hey, new teachers, all the great staff development you had leading up to today, that was Ms. Wallace and her team. Thank you, Teaching and Learning. Ms. Wallace is really an amazing person, and she manages all things with teaching and learning, and you'll be seeing her throughout the course of the year. The other members of my team really are kind of the backbone of what we do. So Dr. Gray is newest to our leadership team, but he's been a principal in the district for several years. And so Dr. Gray is the Director of Instructional Services. Part of his role is to really serve as Director of Communications. And so the commercials, the banners, all of that comes from his team. He also manages all the partnerships. So thank you, Dr. Gray, for all of that. Hey, and if you want to complain, go to Dr. Gray. He also handles that as well. Okay, so this person, a lot of people that she always says runs when she comes in the room, but hopefully you won't be running today because the school year is just starting. It's our school board attorney, Miss Lori Cope. Miss Lori Cope, she's direct, she's to the point, and she's here to really give enough training to make sure that we all feel really good about going in and making sure that kids have what they need, and we do it in a way that's compliant. So we thank you, Ms. Cope, for keeping us compliant. The other members of our team, and we have two more to also mention. We also want to mention Mr. Gowan. So technology, we've always been one-to-one and future ready for many years in Topeka. Well, this year it's really important. A computer breaks, it has to be fixed within seconds. Mr. Gowan makes that happen. So Mr. Gowan, he is our Chief Information Officer. He moved from out of state to come here just to be part of the Topeka Public Schools team, and we are so thankful for him. Thank you, Mr. Gowan. Okay, the last member of the team is Dr. Kip. Dr. Kip has been in the district for over a decade. He's married to Pilar Mejia, and she is at Scott, and my goodness, they are a dynamic duo, seriously. Last year, they actually were both selected as the administrators of the year at central office and at the elementary level. They're pretty incredible. So Dr. Kip, he manages all things demographics, so that over 13,000 kids are enrolled. Who made that happen? Dr. Kip and his team. When parents and students need transcripts, all of the A/B schedules with this whole pandemic scheduling system, he created that. And so he does have a team and a variety of people that help, but Dr. Kip is instrumental. Thank you, Dr. Kip. He's also helping manage the census counting and helping make sure that everyone is counted. I have an incredible team. No one person can do this alone. We are successful because of the people that help pour into us, work alongside us. And I want to thank my leadership team for doing that, helping navigate this new area of change in an incredible way. So other introductions, when you call central office, Mrs. Lister, every year I introduce her. She's normally introduced with the board. The board's already been introduced. She's the board clerk. And so if you need something from the legal office or anything else, Miss Lister, who's been here for decades, she is a critical person to know. The other communication specialist is my communication specialist. Instead of a secretarial person, I have a communication specialist who is Mrs. Phoebe Nordyke. Thank you, Ms. Nordyke, for helping manage a lot of these things and being part of that communications team. Okay, that's the introductions. Now let me say a big shout out. At the very end of this, you're going to see the police officers video. We are great partners with our Topeka Police Department. We're also great partners with our internal local police department. So Chief Cochran last year came on stage and we locked arm in arm and said, we're committed to our students and protecting our students. We did not know there'd be a pandemic. Well, Chief Cochran came back on stage. He has a little video from him and his team and just wishing everybody a great year. Thank you, Chief Cochran. At the very end of this, his video will also play when Convocation kind of concludes at the end of roll call. Additionally, our own local police department, man, they are incredible. They are our SROs. They help manage so many things. We have a new chief of police, so they also will be giving you kind of a congratulations for a new school year at the very end as Convocation prepares to conclude. Normally, they'd be in the arena making sure that we're all in safely and out safely. So they're going to make sure that you're in your school safely this year and out safely. And again, again, we thank them for all of those things. Okay, so we've given introductions. So now, generally, I give a little bit about some achievements. So we didn't have tests last year, so we really don't have test scores to talk about. But my goodness, we were all tested last year. And so teachers, thank you for being tested and coming back this year. You were tested from March through May with how do you have online school? How do you engage kids? How do you remind kids that we love them even if they weren't in your classroom? So thank you so much for being willing to be tested. All right, and so we have this Innovation Award. It's new. It's someone in the greater Kansas area that wanted to acknowledge innovation in Topeka Public School. Isn't that amazing? And they just want to invest, so they're doing it for 5 years. And so the Innovation Award really required an application, a nomination process. And so the very first award goes to McEachran, and that teacher for the first time now knows they're the Innovation Teacher of the Year, John Eddy from McEachran. We are so proud of you. Thank you for being an innovator. Again, McEachran, hats off, and John Eddy, congratulations. Hey, the other teacher, our secondary teacher, the Innovation Teacher of the Year for secondary goes to a Jardine teacher, drum roll, and it is Ben Esau. Thank you for all that you do. You inspire students, and anyone that wants to see them teach and see them in action. Hey, the great thing about virtual is that you can go on their little Zoom link and see them teaching or see some old videos. But right now, give them a shout out. Tell them we love them. You're on social media. Go ahead and post some things letting them know how incredible they are. Hey, if you're a first-year teacher and you just went through PD, we just want to say if you're in your bedroom or your kitchen or in a classroom somewhere, we love you and welcome to the family. Everyone else, please do go in and congratulate them and welcome them back to school in the sense of coming part of the Topeka Public Schools family. And if you know them by name, please do give them a shout out. If you're a teacher that's been teaching from 20 years to 40 years, my goodness bless you and thank you for coming back. And we're so happy to have so many teachers with so many years in Topeka. Again, we want to give shout outs to all of them. Last year and this year, we invited our clergy, and so our clergy members are with us today. Everything from our rabbi that's in Topeka to churches of all denominations to volunteers across the community. Here's the great thing about virtual. This year, anybody could actually come to Convocation. Lee Arena has thousands of seats, but it's confined to thousands of seats, and we have almost 3,000 staff. Well, now we are not confined by any borders or brick and mortar. So we actually sent the Convocation invitation to all of our parents as well as many community members, and we thank you for joining us. Hey, community members and clergy and all others, take time to go online and on social media right now. Help us welcome the teachers back. If you were at Lee Arena, we actually would have been lining up and they would have been hearing the drum roll and we would have been cheering them on and they would have been coming in. So let's make that thing happen right now, even from your own homes, by just putting a shout out on the screen. Well, we've done introductions. We've recognized folks for some high achievements. We do want to mention the Kansas Woman of the Year. Man, this lady's amazing. I call her the real McCoy. I saw her teaching in her classroom about 5 years ago and said, man, that's the real thing. The real McCoy, also known by some as Erin McCoy. You're going to see her at the very end doing a roll call. And later, you're going to be dying laughing at this parody that she and her friend Dale Knoll, the principal at Hope Street, created. And so there'll be a little commercial leading up to school, right before the very first day of school that they created. But at the very end, they're going to be closing us out with roll call. Thank you, Real McCoy, and congratulations on being Kansas Woman of the Year. She's in her second year as a principal, 20 years in Topeka Public Schools, started off as a para. Talk about the real thing. Well, now from a little bit of just my heart to you. We love you. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that your year is great. And when we see challenges, we really don't see barriers. We see opportunity. Last year we had young DeAndre Hicks, and we want to say thank you to his family who's tuning in watching right now. He came to the stage and he kind of had a whole theme about you're the one. He did not know we were going to be in a pandemic, but he literally said you're the one that's going to make the difference. So we thought who better than DeAndre Hicks to come back. He's a Topeka High Trojan, and to remind us that we're still the one. You're the one that's going to bring learning to life. You're the one that's going to make sure that a child who hasn't been in school for 6 or 7 months knows that you love them. You're the one that's going to make sure that your colleague down the hall or across the hall knows that it's going to be okay. You're the one that's going to make the difference. Thank you for being willing to be the one. You're stepping inside of a classroom at a time where many are not. You're stepping inside of the educational arena where you're going to make the biggest difference ever during an international crisis. You are the one that I am proud to represent and advocate for. So I just want to say we love you. Thank you for being the one to help us transform Topeka together. Our mission in Topeka Public Schools is to engage, prepare, and inspire. And we're doing that so students can enjoy a lifetime of learning. Thank you for being the one, and thank you in advance for helping us have an amazing school year.
Good morning, everybody. Listen, wherever you are, we're gonna start this thing off like we always do. 501, if you're in the building, I need you to make some noise with me wherever you are. Come on, I can't hear you. I know we're doing this thing virtually, but I still need y'all to get loud. These are all my teachers, and I know my teachers know how to make some noise. Come on, wherever you are, make some noise where you are. I want to thank Dr. Anderson for allowing me this opportunity to come and speak to you guys once again. But here we are at the 2020 Topeka Public Schools Convocation. I look around me and I see quite a few things different, and some things are missing. One of the first things that I see are missing is that over 2,000 teachers from Jardine, Topeka High, Topeka West, Highland Park, Randolph, and the janitors and the administrative staff and the IT guys are missing. I also don't see Dr. Anderson running around Lee Arena in her white socks and her white tennis shoes, telling everybody what we got to do, how to make this event better. Another thing that I see that is missing or that is different is that over 2,000 of my fellow classmates from Topeka High, Topeka West, Highland Park, and Hope Street didn't quite get the senior year that they were looking for. They didn't get to go to senior prom. They didn't get to walk the stage as they had dreamed of when they were a little kid. And now that we're getting ready to enter into a new year, I know that I won't be able on game days to run the halls with the baddest drumline in the city of Topeka, not in Topeka, in the state of Kansas. I know that those freshmen coming in nervous about their first day of high school won't be able to experience what it's like to be a Trojan. I know that those middle schoolers won't be able to experience their first day of middle school or their first school dance. I know for a fact that those kindergartners won't be able to get a hug from their mother or their guardian to let them know that it is okay, that they're getting ready to go into their first day of their educational career. And even through all this, even through the midst of the pandemic, I want y'all to know that we are still one. I bet you if I were to pass the mic to some people here today, that 2020 has been a challenging year for everybody. Not only has it been a challenging year for you, but it's been a challenging year for me. In March of this year, actually to the day, March 4th of 2020, I figured out my dad had a stroke. He suffered a stroke while I was at golf practice. And if it wasn't for some of the amazing staff that we have here in this building of Topeka High, I don't know how I would have made it through. If it wasn't for Coach Nelson and Coach Zimmerman, if it wasn't for Mr. Horn, Sal Cruz, Bradshaw, and if it wasn't for Mr. Plunkett or everybody else that greeted me and tell me it was gonna be okay, that taught or that continued to text me and call me to let me know that it was okay to feel and that I was gonna get through it. If it wasn't for Dr. Anderson, who was coming up to the hospital, checking on me, my mom, my sister, even praying for my dad, bringing us food and comforting us during that time, I don't know how I would have made it through. And there are some kids right now who are looking for you teachers, who are looking for you janitors, looking for you administrators to be that one person in their life, to be that light in the darkness, to be the person that they can lean on to when they're going through their storm. And I know these last couple years since I've been speaking with you guys, I've been hammering home one thing: are you gonna be the one? This year is no different. I'm looking for some people who are gonna be in the midst of a pandemic, who is going to be the one. I'm looking for those administrators who are going to be the one who can figure out how to turn $2 into $5 to give every kid a fighting chance. I'm looking for those janitors who are going to be the one to clean the building and sacrifice on Wednesdays, even though nobody is there. I'm looking for those teachers who are going to figure out a creative and an innovative way to transform the class, to bring the classroom over to their Zoom classroom. I'm looking for some people or some teachers who, in spite of wanting to give up, in spite of maybe losing some joy, in spite of wanting to throw in the towel, are going to continue to fight to give every kid a fighting chance. And when you begin to sacrifice, and when you begin to give up, or not give up, when you begin to feel like you're getting ready to give up, when you feel like you're beginning to give joy, lean on each other, because like I've said last year, we are all one body. I'm often reminded of what my father used to say. He said, Dre, could you imagine if one day you wake up and because your legs are mad at your arms, they decide they're not gonna walk no more? That your legs, because they're tired and that they've been through too much, or decided that they're not gonna walk no more. The body would not be able to get done what it is set out to accomplish for that day. And 501, that's what I'm telling you. You may be getting tired. This pandemic might have taken something that is precious to you, but I need you to hold on and keep fighting, because there is somebody out there who needs to lean on you. We can't do this without each other. I need you to survive. So 501, I'm asking you to stay safe, stay vigilant, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Let's get ready to roll call.
We are the Scotsmen. We are the best. We are the SCOTS.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ron Generette. I am the Chief of Police for Topeka Public Schools. This year will be different for all of us, however, our mission remains the same. We will still provide the highest quality of service to our students, faculty, and staff. Thank you and have a good year.